Having a solid kickstand. I'm Rex with Asheville Custom E-Bikes. We build, sell, and rent e-bikes in Asheville. I've been doing this about 7 years here. I want to show you guys our impressions of the Hemingway Big Dog, one of the Hemingway's newest in their lineup of electric machines. Let's start with some first impressions and then run through some of the specs on this bike. First impression, this bike is solid. It's 79 pounds, a 750 watt motor, 20 amp hour battery, hydraulic disc brakes, front suspension. Everything you see here comes standard on this bike. It is definitely a beast of a machine. Lots to talk about on it here with that 20 amp hour battery. That's going to give you a 60 to 80 mile range. That might be on the upper end of what you'll actually see in real world. Depends how much hills you have and what you're towing. This bike has a 400 pound payload capacity. That means between the rider, maybe a back seat for a passenger or kids, panniers for your grocery getting or whatever you could imagine, this bike's going to pull 400 pounds. So that's very significant for an e-bike. It's way at the top end of what you're going to see in capabilities. It doesn't have 26-inch tires, which is nice for getting on and off this bike. We have 20-inch by 4-inch. So what you see is really it's a 20-inch rim, but then you also have another 4-inch of tire there. It's 4 inches tall and 4 inches wide. The 4 inches tall is going to give you a cushion. It's going to be a nice shock absorbing measure for anything you run over. It's going to absorb all the rocks and bumps, sticks, manhole covers, you name it. And then the 4 inches wide, that's going to give you grip on the ground. So when you're coming to a stop sign, maybe you're coming down a hill to some gravel, you hit the brakes, all this rubber is going to be gripping, giving you a nice safe stop real smoothly. So also the smaller 20-inch by 4-inch tires are going to have less rolling resistance. That's going to give you more torque. And torque is the ability to pull yourself up a hill from a dead stop, to tow a large capacity, or take a larger rider up any kind of hill. Lots of other features on this bike to make it a really solid and desirable vehicle. Here's that LCD display. Again, not too much to it, but it's simple and it's functional. That's going to be large enough screen size to see anything that you're going to want to know about. To change your power level, you have this plus button and a minus button. You'll have level 0 through 5 for your pedal assist. So on level 0, it's just a regular bicycle, and that means it's just pedal power. So a good way to get started if you're not comfortable riding electric bikes yet. Moving on the clusters and everything on the handlebars here, you got some faux leather grips. Super comfortable. It's got this ergonomic side pad, so when you're riding, it's going to hold on to the pad of your hand. It's going to make it really comfortable. It's got the aluminum Tektro hydraulic disc brakes. Tektro has become a staple for all e-bike brands and one of the top brakes that are out there available on entry-level e-bikes. You got your Shimano shifter for 7 speeds. That's a really nice setup. You can actually downshift multiple gears at a time while you're pedaling. And you get to the next higher gear when you're going faster and faster, you just hit the thumb button. Hemingway went with the twist throttle, which I personally love. You can always swap it out for a thumb throttle if you're not into the twist, but it gives it a nice motorcycle moped feel. So just hold on, twist that throttle, go for a cruise if you don't feel like pedaling or you put out all the effort you had for the day. Moving on down to the neck, it's got a nice name brand, Neko neck. These things are solid, they're clean, it looks nice as well. The bars that it's attached to, it's kind of like a BMX style handlebar. You can have the adjustment to go closer to you or further away to have your arm as comfortable as can be. Moving on to the front tire here, love to show you guys, once again, you got to notice this mag wheel design. No spokes, nothing to adjust. These things are solid. It's going to give you no problem, never have to adjust anything. You got your 180 millimeter rotors with your Tektro hydraulic disc brakes. You got the Kenda tires, name brand. It's got some rugged tread. You can ride these on the street, but it's also going to perform quite well on the trails, off-road, and even on the beach. Comes with a standard suspension fork. Got you about 65 millimeters of travel. It has a capability to dampen it or lessen the pressure, meaning if you want it to be spongier and squishier, absorbing more bumps, just turn it to the left. If you're a larger rider or on some more gnarly terrain, turn it to the right, and that's going to stiffen your shock, dial in your perfect comfort ride level. The second thing you can do to dial in your ride comfort is let out tire pressure until you get just the right squish between the bike being nimble and having enough pressure, but also being low enough to absorb the rocks and bumps and terrain that you like to ride on. Taking a look at the front of the bike, there's some really neat features here as well. One thing I do love about the bike, this oversized headlight with the double beams. You'll be able to see where you're going at nighttime, and folks will be able to see you as well. They do tout this as a mini cargo bike as well. It gives you the standard solid bosses mounted, welded to the frame. So some great cargo racks you can get, haul more gear, do deliveries, maybe you do Uber Eats, anything like that, grocery getting. That's going to be a nice feature. You're going to be happy to take advantage. Moving around to this side here, we have the cover on your crank. That's going to keep your pants out of there from getting chewed up. Folks do ask, why is this setup look like a mid-drive? Well, they're making a lot of frames now that will be mid-drive capable in the future. I imagine sometime in the next couple years, they might add a mid-drive option to this bike. If you look at these welds, what you're looking for on welds is stacking dimes, stacking nickels, and that's beautiful work. It's about as clean as it gets, and you know this bike is extremely solid. Moving on to the back, you have a beautiful cargo rack here. It's got the signature Hemiway logo and the nice wood look. Gives it a quality feel and a little bit of style points based on, you know, most folks don't have that wood piece on their back rack. You got your Shimano Altus 7-speed shifter. It's not entry level, it's not top of the line, but you're gonna have your clean, smooth shifting, and that's all you're looking for. These white strips on the tire here, that's going to be reflective at nighttime. They really light up and shine when the car beams hit it, you're driving down the road. And this back rack is something very interesting. It bolts on to the frame at 4 points, so it's a frame mounted back rack. That's going to give it a much higher payload capacity for carrying a passenger or gear. And there's multiple rack options to even put on for like a double seat. You have 2 kids you want to carry on the back as a cargo commuter. And the bike comes standard with your fenders. So it's going to keep the mud off you, the dirt and grime off you, get to work, get to wherever you're going without a bunch of dirt and grime. And the back tail light, pretty cool. You have the signature Hemiway logo there, and again, just like the front headlight, it's integrated into the battery. So the lights don't use very much juice at all, and it's nice to not have to change a battery, recharge it. If your bike's charged and ready to go, your lights are working. This goes as a tail light. When you squeeze the brakes, it lights up. Also works as a running light when you turn the lights on. That way you'll be able to see from behind. Now stay right there and I'll show you how it lights up. When you squeeze the brake, people are going to know you're stopping. So that's a really nice feature. And then if you turn on the light for nighttime, it's going to be glowing always. You'll still get the brake light, catch your attention. People will stop for you. Again, your kickstand is going to support you on whatever terrain you decide to stop on. That double leg kickstand holds the back tire up, gives you a chance to go ahead and mount your kids on the back, put your groceries on, whatever it is, it's stable and solid. I think this bike lives up to its name, the Big Dog. Lastly, you have some water bottle bosses. It would have been nice to come standard with the water bottle cage. That way you can have a drink while you're riding. I wish they would have put that on there, but really it's $5 or $10. You can get yourself whatever color and make it extra style points for yourself. The seat's pretty comfy, and overall I think it's a beautiful bike, sub $2,000. Huge battery, huge motor, really clean. It's got all the features you can imagine. Doesn't leave much to be desired, and so we love the Big Dog. We'll come back and give you guys some test rides, some video footage to see how it does on the hills, show you what it's capable of soon. Thanks for checking out Asheville Custom E-Bikes review of the Hemingway Big Dog. Keep riding miles of smiles.